world, and welcome to The Jive. I am your host, as per the usual, Greg James. Here alone, always alone. Now everyone's left me at this point. Jeez. All this time, man. All this time, all the things we've been through. Nobody's coming to the party anymore. So, what a sad time. What a sad time over here. Oh well. I'm coming from you, not live, but I'm coming. And I'm at an undisclosed location once again. Out in the zones, as I've been saying. Out in the zones. Pandemic everywhere. People wearing masks. Everyone's friggin' buying up stuff still. Walmart lines are right around the friggin' store, almost touching each other. It almost looks like a friggin' Bristol race. If you don't know that reference, or if you do, if you're into motorsports, check out Mile 24 over on any podcast platform. Mile 24 Show. Apple, Google, Castbox, Stitcher, TuneIn. Same as us. You can find us everywhere on those same platforms. The only difference is Mile 24's YouTube channel is 24 Miles of James. Kind of play off my James name. Yeah, get it? 24 Miles of James, Craig James, Jivetown James. Just James. Just James everywhere. Branding. So yeah, if you're into motorsports, go check that out. But if you're not, you should probably check it out anyway and like motorsports because you'd be cooler. But either way, here on The Jive. Had me thinking though, with all these people out there wearing their masks and such. If I could have like a mask, like say if a goalie mask would work, I doubt it would. Because I don't think goalie masks will protect you from anything other than a puck. Or even a baseball, I guess. Soccer ball. Not a pandemic, though. But what mask? Like, say if goalie mask worked, what mask would you wear? What's the best goalie mask? So I'm not going to rank them. We had a little rank thing for villains last week. But we're not going to rank. But I'll give you some. So, Felix Potvin mask. Classic. Felix Cat. My favorite iteration of it, I like the Islanders one because it had some of the orange. But, I mean, the classic Toronto. He basically had the same mask design. It just changed colors depending on where he was. So, depending on your color scheme. I mean, Johan Hedberg with the moose. Especially up here in Canada. A moose helmet would be pretty alright. Patrick Lean's Marvin the Martian helmet when he was in Ottawa, fantastic. Even Ray Emery's, what he had Muhammad Ali and what was the other guy, Joe Frazier? I don't remember who the other guy was. He had the boxers on his mask. I think it was Joe Frazier. Those are nice looking. Who else? Who else had a good mask? Birders. I liked his at first, but kind of got stale after a while. Van Beesbrook with the Panther head was cool. Mike Richter's New York Rangers, like, Statue of Liberty one was kind of fun. What was the, last good mask? Like, nowadays you don't really remember. Not even, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't watch as much. And goalies aren't as fun as they used to be. I was always a goalie fan. I just don't find the goalie games just as stout as it used to be. Nobody is doing much for me in the goalie thing. I liked Roman Czechmanic. I believe it was him. His mask that had like skyscrapers on the side. That looked cool. Olaf Kozik. He had a cool mask. So all these different masks. If I had to pick right now, again, I'm not ranking, but if I had to pick a mask, I'd probably take the moose mask just for fun. Why not? It's a moose. It's Canada. It makes sense. Transitioning from that, from goalie masks to cold. I was browsing Netflix. Everyone's talking about Tiger King. Now I guess I am too. Ooh. But I haven't actually watched it, and I probably won't, because if you know anything about me, I cannot follow trends. I refuse. I'm the worst, even to my own detriment. Don't know why. It's a personality thing. We got a lot of those, as you probably noticed. But one thing I did find was they had Cold Case Files from A&E, the old classic ones from mid-2000s. Best time, early mid-2000s. And I've been watching those, and it's been awesome because I used to watch that show all the time. That and City Confidential I used to watch. One thing I've come to a thought on. These are going to be random bro statistics. I don't know if they'll add up to anything. But I feel like 80% of the barrels on farms, like abandoned barrels, 80% of barrels have bodies in them 60% of the time. Does that make sense? Does that math make sense? 80% of barrels have 60% of bodies in them. 60% of 80% of barrels. Some bro math right there. Some Steiner math. Can we get some Scott Steiner references up in here? We'll be talking about wrestling, don't you worry. Maybe even sooner than you think. Here on the job in this episode. But it seems like all these like murder shows you watch, it always feels like people are in a barrel. So I'm just going to assume anytime I see an abandoned barrel now that there's a body in it, because it probably does. 80% of the barrels you see, 60% of the time, have a body in them. Remember that math. It's important. It's important to solve cold cases and to not open strange barrels. I remember I've opened strange barrels before. I've never found a body, so I must be on the lower end of that math. But sometimes you get some weird stuff in there and they hold that smell. That's an awful smell that comes out of there. I couldn't imagine opening up an old 20-year-old body. That would be the worst. I could never be a cop. I thought about it once as a wee youngin', but I don't follow rules because I'm hard. If you could see my face. If this is mile 24, you can see my face. But over here on the jive, you can't see this face. I tried to stay strong and hold it straight, but I did not do a very good job. Not hard. But if I was, I'd be hard. But the smells, I think that's the biggest thing that people forget about with like military and policing and stuff. Just the smells alone. I could not imagine. There was someone I know who went to Afghanistan and they were in a spot where there was a lot of burned out bodies and they lost their sense of smell. So I guess not necessarily get used to it after a while, but your smell just pieces out and it's done. So that's a grim, sad fact. But no, it's kind of sketchy. Like, go watch Cold Case Classics on Netflix and watch episode 3. I'm only backing up to 3 because I have work to do. I work full time, run a friggin' 2 different podcasts, 3 YouTube channels. Holy moly. So I'm only up to episode 3. But episode 3, the guy killed 6 women, or 5. They're all in barrels. The barrel theory. We'll call it the barrel paradigm. Could be the show title. The barrel paradigm. Or paradox. We'll figure it out. And, he killed all these women. One, that was colder. He killed her, 15 years before he got caught. 15, 20 years. So he took this girl and her baby, and I want to say baby child, and then I didn't say baby, so I just had this, weird baby. And then just kept going, because I paused. That sounded weird even to me. But they assumed that he killed her and the baby, because they never found, once they found her in the barrel, they didn't find, they just assumed the baby. They didn't find it, but they assumed it was dead. Well, I guess the guy's niece was watching the TV, and they showed a picture of the baby, and she's like, oh, that's weird, that looks like my baby picture. And, because it was. So the guy killed the girl, and then sold the baby to his brother, and then is raised as his niece, I guess. That's messed up. We're trying to be not PG, because we just talked about grisly murders, but we're trying to drop the F-bombs. We used to swear a little bits over here. We're trying to be a little more politically correct. Maybe get some sponsors and some love out there. Hello, Bush beer, any type of beer. Somebody give me beer. But, it's kind of messed up. Kills a friggin' person's mother. What? People are very, very worrisome. I do not trust them. They freaked me out. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't even imagine the headspace of someone, let alone murder multiple people, but to murder a mother and then sell the child. And a bunch of these murders, he'd kill them, and he would forge their signatures when they got their tax checks, or like one, he took someone's ex-wife and murdered her and cashed her alimony checks for like 10 years. The guy had no idea. He's like sending these checks and he's just cashing them, putting in his bank account for years and years and years. And the guy's ex-wife was murdered and in a barrel. But I don't know, man. People are sketchy. Don't trust anyone. In the words of Stone Cold Steve Austin, trust no one. Give them a stunner if you must. Keep them away. Don't get murdered out there, guys. That's the word of advice for today. Do not get murdered. Be cool. Never get murdered. Now that murdering's out of the way, we can talk about the NFL free agency 2020. So with everything going on, it has been nice that, not completely normal, because some people, they haven't been able to do the medicals and the workouts. So like Cam Newton's still a free agent. What? But we've had some big moves, and I haven't talked about them. And I'm dumb for that. I'm bad. I should lay down and get kicked right in the nuts. But I won't. I hope you don't do that to me. But Tom Brady, my nemesis since the beginning of time, has left the Patriots. And from what it sounded like, has hated being at the Patriots all this time. Goes to... Now, I don't have a favorite team, and even if I did, I wouldn't tell you. I like a couple different teams. I don't find, like, rooting for one solid team forever makes any sense, because players come and go, and you could end up hating them one day. Like, at one point when I was a Sens fan, I hated everybody on that team. So, I'm just writing down barrel paradigm, so I don't forget. But old Brady hated it, and he left, and he's going to the Buccaneers, a team that I like. I'd probably put them in my top 3 teams. Top 5, top 3 for top 5 for sure. 3, we'd have to think about it. And all the things he's saying about, it's not even the things that he's saying, it's like the things that he's like hinting at, but hasn't actually said. Feels like they didn't treat him with much respect up there. And as someone who's despised Brady for my whole existence, I'm excited to see him play for a team I like, and I kind of want to see him win again. I still hate the Patriots, but free Brady, I guess. I don't know what kind of comparison, like, is there a movie or something where you have like your all-time nemesis who eventually becomes your ally? Is that a thing? Is he Darth Vader? They do the Empire references to the Patriots all the time. Did Brady just die as Vader and then come back as Anakin? Is Brady a Force ghost? He very well could be. Who was Luke? Is Bruce Arians Luke? Does it make sense? Does it? Brady's Bruce Arians' father. We're getting too into Star Wars lore there. We're getting a little... other big moves. Todd Gurley's an Atlanta Falcon. Don't know if he'll be as good as he has been the last little bit. He hasn't been great last year. Hopefully he can get back to his better play, because I wouldn't mind seeing him do well for the Falcons. Because I like the Falcons too. Hate the Rams. Don't like any of the LA teams in any sport. I've never been an LA guy. Won't ever be an LA. Big Phil. Packing up all 50 kids, taking them over to Indy. So that'll be interesting. Big Phil and his kids over in Indianapolis, who allegedly said no to Tom Brady. Bold move. Cam Newton did wrong. See, I like the Panthers too. I've just said every team I've liked. They just like released him really greasily. Like they're like, yeah, he's our quarterback, and then they signed Bridgewater, and it's like all these guys, like Brady gets signed up, Rivers gets signed up, all these quarterback spots are taken. Then they release Cam Newton. Now there's not many teams left, and they can't really work him out or anything to see if he's healthy, because he's had an injury issue here. So that was a bit sketchy, and I guess they did the same thing with Greg Olsen. So I don't like their business practices over there in Carolina. So that's not ideal. Not cool, man. But what can you do? Who else did we have for cubes? A lot of cubes moved. There's other moves too, but the cubes are the ones getting talked about, so those are the ones I'm going to talk about. Jameis is going to be a free agent. The Bears traded and got Nick Foles. The Texans derply traded DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals for a second and David Johnson, who hasn't been good in 3 years. So that'll be interesting to see Kyler Murray, who is broken in Madden, by the way. I've been playing Madden 20 a little bit. Shitty game. Kyler Murray, he's broken in that game. I'm just busting runs. I put up 50 points on the Jags. I don't know why. I was playing exhibition. It was Super Bowl. It was Jaguars versus Cardinals. What a fun... Or no, it wasn't the Jags. It was the Browns. Browns-Cardinals Super Bowl. What a freaking game that would be. But, Arizona, who didn't start the year off good. They were kind of poopy. But they kind of got together near the end of the year, gave some teams some problems. So, with DeAndre Hopkins, we'll see what happens there. That will be interesting. Who else did we get? I think there's another one I'm missing. I could have wrote them down before I recorded, but if you've ever listened to The Jive, kind of just do things. You know? Unscripted. Unfiltered. Well, I have a little bit of filter now, but I didn't. I feel like there's a big one I'm missing. Mariota. Yeah, there's a big one I'm missing. Mariota went to the Raiders. Tucker, I swear there's another one that I'm missing. Oh well. The draft, the Bengals are going to get Joe Burrow. We'll see what happens there. It's a lot of stuff going around with Tua, so the draft has got me super interested. I'm really curious what happens with the upcoming draft. I think we got it in a week, so that'll be very fun. I want to see what happens with that. I want to see if Tua falls. I'm curious because everyone says he's so good, but he's got all these injury issues. We'll have to see. There's nothing like a good draft. Like when there's like speculation and drama going into a draft, it's fun. It's almost better than the actual game. I don't know though. It's going to be interesting. We'll have to see. I think Cincinnati. I said this with Arizona too. I might have said it on the drive. I'm sure I did. They should have traded their pick and not take Kyler Murray, and we should have kept Josh Rosen. Kind of didn't quite work out because it looks like Kyler's good and Rosen's kind of a bum. But the Bengals, they got Andy Dalton, Cam Newton. Cam Newton's out there. They should sign up Cam Newton, trade away that pick, get like 4 firsts, and build that team. AB's out there. Imagine Antonio Brown, Cam Newton trading the picks. That's the play. We'll see if it actually happens. Doubt it. But apparently they like e0bd. I think he's just Herbert. They don't pronounce it French, do they? I'm going to pronounce it e0bd because it's more fun for me. e0bd. Apparently the Bengals like. So maybe they get Cam and get e0bd with one like a late first maybe or a second. Develop e0bd behind Cam on a 2-3 year deal. I see they signed Cam to a 2-year deal with a 1-year option. Get e0bd and see where he is, and then go from there. That'd be the play. If I'm Cincinnati, that's what I'm doing. But alas, we shall see. I still can't remember that other big signing. What a toolbox. PJ Walker to the Colts, that's what it was. No. No, I don't remember. WrestleMania also happened fairly recently, too. We had some hits and miss, so we're going to go through the hits. We're going to go through the hits first. The Undertaker AJ Styles match. A little cheesy, but I'm a big AJ guy, and I hate Dead Man Taker and love Biker Taker. So I was all in. Good call. I would clap, but I'm playing with a knife, and I would stab myself, so we're not doing that. I can't. I have to fidget while I record. Everybody knows this. You hear it. So the Undertaker Taker match. Undertaker versus Taker. That was a good match. No. AJ Styles versus Undertaker. So they killed AJ. They buried him in the Boneyard match. Carl Anderson's probably still alive, though. He took a tombstone on a roof, but that was it. Luke Gallows got thrown off the roof into the abyss. So Gallows is probably dead. AJ is 100% dead. And Carl Anderson's just knocked out on a roof somewhere. So my boy Carl Anderson, one of my favorite wrestlers, still alive. So we're good. Who else? What else did I like? controversially, I like the Firefly Funhouse as a match. What? That was crazy. But as a fun, I don't know, just seeing John Cena as the NWO and then have all his old gimmicks and then Bray being his old self. And I like Bray Wyatt. I love the Wyatt family. When I was doing the Electric Chair Show Wrestling Only podcast, I used to do the little Wyatt family skits where I was, because I didn't like them at first, or I played it like that, and then I'd put the crazy like sheep mask in the videos that I did. I know, I was a little child, but it was fun. And I like his weird little stuff, so I thought it was fun. It was entertaining, especially considering some of the other stuff that wasn't. Bobby Lashley versus Aleister Black was a decent match. Best match of night 2, in my opinion, which is sad, because that Bobby Lashley match should never be the best match on the show. Not that he's bad, but I just, Oh, what else happened that was good, that was acceptable, that was fine and enjoyable? The Triple Threat ladder match was fine, but it wasn't, it was a Triple Threat ladder match, so the finish was kind of a bummer, but it was fine. It was good, I guess. But, man, the real poo in the shoe, the Randy Orton Edge match, Edge, after being gone for so long, he comes back and he has a big stinker. That was the worst match I've ever seen. It was like 50 minutes. No, it was 40 minutes, second longest match in WrestleMania history. I felt like it was all day. As Meltzer said, it felt like 3 months. It did. I watch it, I'm like, this sucks. I'm going to go take the dog out to poop and then come back. I come back after peeing the dog, pooping the dog. They're still going. I'm like, why is this match still happening? I don't understand. So that was very irritating. God, that was a stinker. The both main events, I love that Braun Strowman won the title, but I don't like those quick Lesnar-Goldberg matches. They're just kind of pointless. That didn't need to happen. And the women's match, the Rhea Ripley-Charlotte one was okay. The Becky Lynch one was fine. The 5-way elimination battle royal one was garbage. I hated it. Yeah, I don't even remember the other matches. That's how forgettable. I get with the whole virus thing, we couldn't do a normal WrestleMania, but man, that's a stinker of a WrestleMania. A big, fat... Stop that. It's a big, fat stinker, and I'm glad when we won't have to do it again. It's sad that most of those matches won't be remembered, like it never happened, but that's the way it goes. Big disappointment. Big disappointment for me. AEW, though, I was excited for it. It started. I got a little disappointed with because they have too much indie crap, but they're starting to wean some of that stuff out. Matt Hardy's back. That's kind of fun, but my Lance Archer's there now, too. Lance Archer's killing it. Inner Circle's been great. Cody. Everything's killing it. But the big thing is Brody Lee. I was always a Harper fan, and I think he's great. I didn't like the Dark Order, but now he's there as the Exalted One. So I'm a huge fan of Brody Lee. The misuse of him and Carl Anderson were one of the reasons why I stopped watching WWE. And, I think he's great. I'm all in on the Dark Order and Brody Lee. I think it's fantastic that he's finally doing something and he can show what he can do, and it's awesome. Well, long-winded, but I gotta go. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I am your host, Craig James. This has been The Jive, and I'll see you again someday. Peace.